He doesn't have nukes. He doesn't control global markets. He doesn't command the world's most powerful army. And yet, the West is terrified of him. His name is Ibrahim Traoré, and what he's doing in Burkina Faso has shaken the foundations of global power. Why? Because for the first time in decades, a young African leader has refused to be managed. He doesn't ask for permission. He doesn't beg for aid. And he doesn't smile for photo ops with presidents in suits who once colonized his continent. Instead, he speaks directly to the people. Africa doesn't need pity, it needs power. Those were his words. And they're now echoing through every village, every classroom, and every street where people have grown tired of waiting. Traoré has become a symbol, not of rebellion, but of awakening. Because he's doing what no Western leader wants to see. Uniting former colonies under one voice, kicking out exploitative forces, exposing fake democracy, and proving that self-reliance is not just possible, it's powerful. The West isn't afraid of war. It's afraid of ideas that catch fire. And Traoré? He's the spark. When he took power, many dismissed him. Too young, too bold, too radical. Now, they don't call him names. They call meetings, emergency summits, quiet calls to ECOWAS, sudden sanctions, stalled aid, shadowy threats. Because he did what they never expected. He changed the psychology of a generation. Young Africans no longer dream of fleeing to Europe. Now, they dream of fixing home. They dream of farming their own land, not working in foreign factories, of building clinics with local tools, not depending on international NGOs, of leading with pride, not through approval. And to the old systems, that's terrifying, because it threatens everything. Their control over African resources, their influence over African politics, their narrative that Africa can't survive without them. Traoré isn't preaching hatred, he's preaching healing. But healing means breaking dependency, and breaking dependency means ending control. So now, the West has a problem. How do you stop a man who doesn't play your game? You can't bribe him, you can't blackmail him, you can't replace him, because he didn't come from the elites. He came from the people. And that's why he's dangerous, because if he succeeds, Africa changes. And if Africa changes, the world changes. This isn't just about Traoré. This is about a sleeping continent waking up and refusing to bow again. And the sound of that awakening is louder than any weapon. And now, that sound is turning into a roar. From Senegal to Somalia, young people are quoting Traoré in classrooms. On TikTok, Instagram, and WhatsApp, his speeches are being clipped, translated, and shared in dozens of languages. They call him the people's president, Africa's answer, the lion without chains. Because while other leaders speak of reform, Traoré acts. He didn't just kick out foreign troops. He built a new defense system with local commanders who answer to the people. He didn't just criticize foreign banks. He laid the foundation for a regional financial system beyond the control of the CFA franc. He didn't just reject foreign NGOs. He empowered local farmers, teachers, and nurses to lead their own development. And the world? It's watching in disbelief, because this wasn't supposed to happen. The colonial playbook was clear. Keep Africa divided, keep Africa begging, keep Africa dreaming of the West. But Traoré flipped the script. He said, "We don't need visas, we need vision. We don't need donations, we need direction. Africa is not poor, it is being emptied." And those words struck like lightning. In Ghana, student unions are demanding local control of gold and cocoa exports. In Kenya, youth marches are calling for an end to foreign NGO dominance in slums. In South Africa, a growing coalition is studying Traoré's speeches like textbooks. This isn't about military coups. This is about mental independence, and that's what the West never planned for. Because you can stop a tank, you can block a bank transfer, but you can't stop an idea whose time has come. And Traoré? He's not just leading a country, he's leading a consciousness, one that says, We are not what they told us. We are not weak. We are not waiting. We are ready. But the stakes are rising, because the more minds he wakes, the more desperate his enemies become, and the more desperate they get, the more dangerous the path becomes. Traoré knows it. That's why he said, "I am not afraid to die. I'm afraid that my people go back to sleep." And that's why he keeps walking, day after day, not for power, but for purpose. Because he understands, if even one generation stands up, truly stands up, Africa changes forever. And now, that change is no longer a dream. It's becoming reality. Under Traoré's leadership, Burkina Faso is doing what experts once said was impossible without Western help, building community-run irrigation systems in the driest regions, training local teachers to replace dependency on foreign education programs, launching mobile health clinics in remote villages, distributing land to small farmers instead of selling it to international investors. Each success tells a new generation, we can do it ourselves, and that simple truth is more powerful than 1,000 foreign embassies. Across Africa, even children know his name, not because of PR campaigns, but because their parents tell them, he is the first leader who didn't sell us. And that is what terrifies the West. Because control doesn't start with bullets, it starts with belief. If people believe they need the West, they will obey it. But if they believe in themselves, the system collapses. And Traoré? He's pulling the belief back where it belongs, to the soil, the people, and the ancestors. He reminds them, we had civilizations before they had countries. We had libraries while they were still lighting torches. What we lost was not our value, it was our voice. And now, that voice is rising again. ECOWAS fears it. Foreign powers fear it. Even some African elites, who benefit from the old system, fear it. Because this voice doesn't need luxury cars or foreign degrees. It needs truth. And truth spreads fast. From mosques to music, from classrooms to kitchen tables, from one mother telling her son, don't run to Europe, fight for Africa. And that, right there, is the revolution. Not violence, vision, not chaos, clarity. And not a single man, but millions awakened by him. So when the West says, why are we afraid of Traoré? They already know the answer, because he's not just leading a country, he's leading a generation. But as this generation rises, so does the desperation of those losing control. Behind closed doors, think tanks in Washington and Paris hold late-night meetings. Diplomats whisper phrases like strategic disruption, containment policy, information management in the Sahel. They don't speak openly of war, but they do speak of stability. And in their language, stability means submission. So what do when a leader like Traoré refuses? They begin the final phase: discredit, distract, destroy. Fake stories leak, claiming he's stolen wealth. Foreign media push narratives of internal unrest. Old allies are bribed to flip sides, and shadow deals offer him safety in exchange for silence. But Traoré doesn't blink. He doesn't play defense. Instead, he doubles down on offense with truth. He releases footage of gold being stolen by foreign trucks. He shows contracts where African governments were promised pennies for billion-dollar resources. He invites international reporters to see his projects firsthand. No filters, no edits, just reality. And the people? They don't need convincing anymore. They've seen what he's done. Their children are eating food grown by their own hands. Their schools are being painted by local volunteers, not foreign donors. Their hospitals are run by nurses who once had no future. And all of this happened without begging, without aid, without permission. So when outsiders say, Traoré is dangerous, the people respond, dangerous to who? Because now they understand, the enemy isn't the man building homes, it's the system that kept them homeless. The threat isn't the leader planting crops, It's the empire that left them hungry. The danger isn't Traoré, it's the fear of what happens if he succeeds. Because if he can do it in Burkina Faso, others will try. And the whole game falls apart. No more cheap gold, no more obedient presidents, no more easy control, just a continent standing tall. And for those who've lived off Africa's silence, that's the loudest threat of all. Now the question isn't just, will Traoré survive? It's, can the old system survive him? Because the awakening he sparked is not just political, it's spiritual. Young Africans no longer measure success by how close they get to Paris or Washington. They measure it by how deeply they can root themselves in their own land, their own culture, their own destiny. Traoré has made it fashionable to fight for your soil, to speak your native tongue with pride, to invest in your people, not foreign praise. And now, Burkina Faso is not alone. Mali, Niger, Guinea, the alliance is forming. A brotherhood not of puppets, but of patriots. They're discussing a joint currency outside of the CFA system, a shared military pact to defend against foreign coups and proxy wars, a Pan-African education network rooted in history, truth, and independence. This is what the West truly fears. Not tanks, not speeches, but a new Africa that refuses to crawl. Because for centuries, the strategy was simple. Keep them fighting each other. Keep them fearing isolation. Keep them believing they are weak. Traoré broke all three. He reached across borders. He called for unity, and he reminded the continent, they only divide us because united, we are unstoppable. And that unity, it's growing. Volunteers from Ghana are traveling to Burkina Faso to help with farming. Engineers from Sudan are offering blueprints for solar grids. Journalists from Uganda are risking everything to report the truth from inside Traoré's government. It's no longer about him, it's about all of them. One African nation rising? That's a story. But a continent refusing to bow? That's a revolution. And revolutions don't need permission. They only need one thing, a spark. Traoré lit it. Now the fire is spreading.
Some call him dangerous.
Others call him a savior. But one thing is clear. He made the world listen. If this story moved you, like, share, and subscribe. And for more fearless, untold truths, stay connected.